Welcome, everyone, to a beautiful, beautiful fall Saturday. It is October 22nd, 2022, and this is Jackson. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Barry Rosenzweig from Jackson and representing the Jackson School District as well. Always love doing the shows for all the positive, wonderful activities that go on and the beautiful lifestyle that's offered to all of the residents of the Jackson Township. So we have today the kickoff for the plans for Rova Farms, formerly Rova Farms. It's 34 acres that Jackson Township has acquired. It includes the lake behind me, and it's just wonderful. And they're going to have so many different things. They're going to have a nature trail that's going to be almost a half a mile in length. They are going to have an outdoor pavilion for performances from not only our own children in the schools at different times of the year, but also visiting persons who can represent many, many wonderful heritages as they come in. Also, we have a garden. We have a gated garden, a fenced garden area, which will highlight, I'm not sure of what exactly, fruits, vegetables, all kinds of things, but that is coming in the future as part of this as well. They have a kayak area where you can take and bring your own kayaks. I'm not sure if they're going to have any for rental or not, but we know we have the fishing pier where it'll go out into the water, and it'll be a floating fishing pier for youngsters of all ages to enjoy the wonderful, and I know they have largemouth bass in this particular lake right here where Rova Farms was. And so this Rova Resort will be coming back to life for new generations to come. And it's just magnificent. All of the wonderful things that will happen here and that have been created will be for everyone to enjoy. And we're right next to, actually just east of, about 100 yards away from the front doors of St. Vladimir Russian Church right here in Cassville area of Jackson. So welcome to today's show. We're going to be speaking to the ladies and gentlemen who are directly involved from their committees in creating the wonderful aspects of the new Rova area, family resort area in Cassville section of Jackson Township. I want to get right to it, but I want to tell you we are at Rova Farms in Jackson Township. And off to my left shoulder, if you want to roll that camera a little to my left, can you check out the church, St. Vladimir's Church. There it is, St. Vladimir's Church, as you enter into the property. And behind me, you can even see in the old building, Rova, which identifies Rova Farms. So it's been here since 1934, when a group of immigrants, white Russians, came to this area and they purchased 1,400 acres and settled here. They cultivated the area for crops. They had livestock as well. People built homes on various portions of it, and they settled in this area. And they not only had St. Vladimir's Church built over the years, but they had the other church, St. Mary's Russian Catholic Church, St. Mary's Russian Catholic Church, and they have Rova Farms itself, which is a resort. It was a resort for the Russian community. Well, it fell into disuse and generations move and people grow up and move away from the area.
That's right.
So for like Harvey used to say, the radio announcer, and now for the rest of the story, we have, and I am honored to be with, State Councilman Alec Sawicki, right here from the Jackson Township. And he reminded me when we saw each other initially, he said, "Oh, Mr. Rosenzweig, hi, I'm Alec Sawicki. You taught me how to play saxophone." That was a few years ago.
Yeah, for both of us. yeah. Well, I'm a lifelong resident of Jackson, and as you mentioned, you taught me how to play sax in third grade when we were both at Rosenauer School.
Wow.
Come a few years later, I was elected as a councilman here in Jackson. Really just wanted to give back to the town, and that same year, the council saw an opportunity to purchase the property we're standing on right now. As you mentioned, there's a tremendous amount of history in this area, and what we're standing on right now really are the remaining 34 acres of the 1,400 acres you mentioned that were originally purchased back in the early 1930s. That property, as I'm sure you know, when they bought that 1,400 acres, they bought it with a plan to sell parcels of it to those fleeing communist Russia, so they'd have a home right here in what is now the Cassville section of Jackson Township. So when the opportunity came up in 2019, the council said we need to get that property, preserve it, and make it something for this town. To tell you how emphatic we were and how much we knew it was going to mean to the residents, we actually had a deal with the seller, and at the very last minute a developer came in to try to outbid the town. And the council, which only the council has these powers to use eminent domain, which we don't use loosely. It was the first time I've ever used it, but it was one of those times where it made sense and it was for the greater good of the town. And we told the owner, no, we have a deal. We're going to buy that property and we're going to preserve it for the town. If it weren't for COVID, I think we would be further along than we are. But considering COVID, and we're only 3 years later, to be standing here now where you can actually see what this piece of property is going to become. It's going to become a beautiful park, something that generations from now people will be using, and it has a lot of firsts to it. It's our first park that has waterfront, so you can see most of the lake is exposed now, but there's even more lakefront as we go further back on the property. It'll be the first with an amphitheater, a permanent amphitheater.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
160 seat, beautiful semicircle.
Yeah, and then that was, in a way, that was a nod to the history, as you mentioned. There's a lot of entertainment that went on this property back in its heyday, including Bruce Springsteen actually performed in a pavilion very close to the lake. That building's no longer here, but they sold tickets for $5 back then, and they spelled his name Springsteen. So he was Bruce Springsteen for the day, at least here. But a lot of history, and we wanted to bring some of that history back by having the town's first amphitheater where we could get some performers here as well.
I think that's fabulous. The whole concept, ladies and gentlemen, is for the good of our residents here in Jackson Township. Now, Jackson Township, I came here right after I served in the military. So the day I left the military, I was on contract with the Jackson schools as a music teacher, as you know.
That's right.
And that was back in 1968. And we only had about 30,000 or so residents in Jackson. What is the general number of residents in Jackson today?
Yeah, I remember that. It has grown to about 60,000 residents today. And why it's more important than ever that what the council's doing in terms of preserving land continues. In support of that, we put a question to the public in 2020 to ask them if they wanted to increase the open space fund contributions to it. In addition, within that question, we also asked if we'd be allowed to use those funds to actually develop the preserved land. Before that ballot, you couldn't do that. You could only use open space funds for preserving the actual land. The residents overwhelmingly passed that, telling the council, keep buying land, keep preserving it, and develop it, which is what we're doing here.
Well, this is so incredibly beautiful. And here we are, and we haven't, and we'll get everything on camera, you'll get to see everything, folks, about how it's just in the beginning stages. The building behind me used to be a restaurant, and in the back, behind Mr. Swicky, Councilman Swicky's shoulders, behind him was a restaurant. I ate there many times over the years in the 60s, 70s, 80s, when it was still an active restaurant.
Very active.
And behind my head, it says Rova in the front part of the building to identify Rova Farms. That was a shop that sold Russian goods, from candy to the stacking dolls, Petrushka dolls, isn't that what they call them? Something like that. Where you have a big doll, then you open it, there's a smaller one, all that. So we used to get that stuff, and my kids grew up learning about the foods. By the way, I miss, you ready? Pelmeni. And that Russian dish, I could eat a million of them. They're mini raviolis. We know raviolis are pretty big, Italian raviolis. So Russian ravioli are the same idea, little squares with meat inside or cheese, but they're called pelmeni. So my family used to kid with me and say, "Hey, Dad, how many pelmeni can you eat today? 100? 200? So we always had a fun time with that. But this place always brought joy. And you know what? They had music. I'm so glad you mentioned that. They had music in the restaurant, I believe, just on the weekends.
That's right. Yeah, inside the restaurant, the building behind us, actually they had two stages, relatively small compared to the theater outside, but always had some kind of entertainment inside. And while we're talking about things high level and around the history of it, what's beautiful about this day is there's folks here that actually worked here, have pictures in the heyday of that restaurant full of people, including the big banquet hall, while they're listening to entertainment. So there's a lot for people to see here today that'll bring them back to the days when you and I were here in the 80s, and can actually see what this building was really like in its heyday.
Terrific. And we are going to tour all of the property and tell you about what different aspects. We've mentioned a few things already. I love the idea of the pavilion, outdoor pavilion for spring, summer, even fall, and to have different shows. And who knows, maybe Bruce Springsteen will get here for $5 a pop.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You think we'd get a few people?
Hey, and I'll just say right now, we welcome Bruce Springsteen here in Jackson. We'd love for him to visit when this park is done, and we certainly would be okay with him being the first one on the new pavilion stage.
Now, wouldn't that be something? Bruce, you have the challenge the gauntlet, I should say, has been thrown down to challenge you to come on and join us. I know you get to the Stone Pony in Asbury Park quite a bit, so why not get to the Russian Pelmeni place or the Russian resort that we are recommitting to Jackson to have the whole of township, all the township of Jackson enjoy. Alex Sawicki, councilman, former committee man in Jackson as well over the years, and great saxophonist when he was a kid, when he was in my band as a little guy. But time goes on, but memories stay with us.
That's right.
And already we are creating memories thanks to you and your committee that worked on this. And thank you for all the hard work you always do for the wonderful betterment of Jackson.
I really appreciate that, and it really is a team effort. The Jackson Council has been out front on this from the beginning in 2019. You've got a relatively new group of council people, and they've listened to what the residents want, and the residents want us to preserve land and do some really good things with it like we're doing here today. So thank you for giving it the coverage. I really am looking forward to this park being done, and for generations of people from Jackson enjoying it.
You're welcome. It's great. Alex Sawicki. I am with Steve Chisholm, a councilman right here in the Jackson Township. See, well, I'm okay. Welcome. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
This is wonderful. What a day. And I know that you're directly involved with the committee work that had to put this together, this magnificent project.
Yes, sir. So the project came about in 2019 before I really got involved. That was my predecessor, Alex Sawicki, who's now an assemblyman, and also Councilman Kern. So Andy Kern and him had sort of set aside the property and got everybody from council and the administration to back the project. They purchased the property and then started, after that, when I came on board, we started the committee. So Alex Sawicki was the first chairman. I was the vice chair until he stepped aside and ran for assembly. Now I'm the chairman, and we have a great group of local citizens that are all on the committee, and they have been just incredible to work with. They've been just passionate about Jackson, about this property, about the vision for what we see this park to become, and they've had a wealth of knowledge and history of just their childhood experiences, whether they lived on the lake, worked here, worked at the restaurant. It's been really an educational experience for me as well.
It's really interesting how many thousands upon thousands of residents came here, and they didn't have to be of Russian heritage. I mean, I'm one of them, because when I got here in '68 into the Jackson area and began working here in the school system, I wound up with my family, my wife and kids and relatives. We'd come to the restaurant and enjoy eating the Russian food and so on. But we never fished, but we noticed there were lots of people doing that. And it's just a wonderful tradition that you're going to restart and now carry on for many, many generations to come.
That is the hope. Obviously, people have not stopped fishing. There's probably somebody over there. Yes, they are. They're fishing right now. So they come here, and I see them on my way back and forth to work every day. But this is going to be a nice, clean opportunity for them to just really have an enjoyable spot, not really having to rough it. So now that we've cleaned up some of the trees and the brush, they can get in here and not get their lines all snagged. But there is going to be, kind of behind us, a nice little fishing dock. There's going to be a floating dock, more than likely. There's going to be another outcropping and overlook, so you can just really enjoy the lake itself. There's going to be a kayak launch kind of not too far from where we're standing, so people have an opportunity to get back out on the water and just paddle around and enjoy the sereneness of the water. It's beautiful here at sunrise and sunset if you haven't seen it, especially this time of year with all the fall color. Driving by here in the morning, the other morning, there was a full moon behind the trees, fog coming off the lake. It was fantastic. So it's really a beautiful location, and it's going to be a park for everybody here in Jackson to enjoy.
We certainly thank you for your efforts, Steve, and for all of your thoughtfulness about what went into the project. And I am excited just looking at the map that's on the table there. They have that layout of all of the different items that will be here, including, and I love, the area with the 160 seats.
Yeah, so there's going to be a future planned amphitheater. Now, we're not sure that that's the size or how much it's going to be, but right now that is the vision for it. And it'll be an opportunity for people to come and produce plays, have our students come from the local schools to play concerts, outside. A lot of towns have the opportunity to have concerts under the stars, so this will be our opportunity to bring that to Jackson. And so whether it's our students or our local entertainers, we can have battles of bands, we can have outside groups, whatever it is. I mean, the stars are the limit, right? So we're shooting for the works and hoping it's going to be a wonderful place for everybody to enjoy.
It will be, absolutely. And by the way, even the use of materials, you've got asphalt for the parking. You've got a concrete walkway that goes all the way down to the water. You have, off of the concrete and the asphalt, you've got, I'm not sure what it's going to be, the material, but it's for nature walks.
So we have a couple of different materials that have to be used. So kind of to our right here is going to be some sort of hardscape, because it's going to be handicapped accessible. So we're going to need the opportunity for our other citizens to be able to come down, use the fishing dock, get to the gardens that we're planning, and then eventually once we get beyond the pavilion where you'll be able to have barbecues or just sit and enjoy a snack or whatever, there are going to be some nature trails. And because it's going to go into the wild areas, we don't really want to have an impervious surface. So that will either be some crushed stone or stone dust or wood chips. We're not 100% sure what it's going to be yet, but it will be it's going to be an impervious surface, so we don't have things that are going to be a problem.
A work in progress. Absolutely fantastic. I'm smiling. It hurts already because I'm smiling from ear to ear. What a wonderful project. Steve Chisholm working very, very hard with the committee that works to plan every step of the way here and every material that has to be used, and has been involved from early on with the project, and he is a councilman in the Jackson Township itself. So, Steve Chisholm, thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Certainly welcome. Fishing. We have fishermen of all ages that just love fishing. And with me right here now, I have a man who is 85 years old, Easton Noble. You are 85, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely 85 years old, and he is an expert fisherman. But I think that you just love fishing.
Yeah, fishing is fun.
And wherever you go with your family, do you fish?
Pretty much.
And are you looking forward to when this place is fully developed? They're going to have a fishing pier as well, where I guess they're going to build a pier that goes out above the water for a while. I don't know how many feet, and you can even cast from there.
Yeah, I'm definitely very excited for when they build that.
I met a gentleman actually, and of course I know you're not 85 years old, but I met a gentleman who's in his 50s and earlier, and he was telling me that he's been fishing here since he's a kid, because he lives just down the road here on Perrineville Road, and he said that he gets fish like sometimes 2 to 3 pounds. I guess they're largemouth bass.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't really know what fish are here, but I know there definitely are a lot.
Well, I wish you lots of luck, and you're going to enjoy this new development of our property here in the Cassville section of Jackson, the Rova Farm section, and I know you're going to just grow up with doing lots of fishing here.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you for being with me today, Easton Noble, a local resident right here in the Cassville area, and we're going to watch you do one cast as we finish up that little shot. Go ahead, have a good time. Now for the cast, here we go. Yes! All right, excellent job, yay! Move down to another of the tripods, and this particular one says the future location of the kayak launch. So you've heard from Steve Chisholm that they're going to have a kayak launch, and I know that I've done some kayaking, but only up in the reservoir in Howell. They have kayaks there.
Well, now you'll maybe do it here as well, and there even is talk that maybe we'll have a small building put where people can rent kayaks. If you don't have your own, you'll be able to come here, rent a kayak for a couple of hours, and enjoy the lake.
Oh, how wonderful, how terrific. By the way, I'm with Victor, and Victor, could you tell our viewing audience what your involvement is with everything going on here?
My involvement was, I used to come to this property as a child and grew up on these grounds, and it was so important to me to be involved with the next phase and the future of this property. And as a kid, we used to come, they would have bonfires here at night, and my 2 brothers and I, we would play music and do Russian folk songs, and the fire is going and the people were all crowded around the fire, and we would just sing and play music, and it was just that cultural thing that we enjoyed so much.
Oh, Chinchon.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, how wonderful. I'm a musician as well, but I've never done. Oh, got your phone going there. Well, at least it's musical. But Victor, obviously, he's been here since he's a kid, and now that he's 21, gosh, that's terrific.
You could tell I'm 21.
That's all right. I'm 21 also.
It's important to me just to see this continue so other people can enjoy this like I did growing up, that we're going to preserve this park for the future, and people will be able to come here and just enjoy the grounds, enjoy the beautiful lake, and just enjoy this beautiful park.
You know, it's interesting, too, because you as a kid gave so much to the listening audience of the people around the bonfires over the period of time that you played along with your brothers. You gave to so many people the beautiful feeling of the Russian heritage of this area, and now we're going to give it back to you. And we're going to throw the phone in the lake.
Yeah.
Yay! All right.
I get a call all day, and all of a sudden now I get 2 phone calls.
It's probably, President Biden wants you down for lunch or dinner or something.
Yeah, I won't go to that.
Oh, you won't
That's
go to
another story. That's another story.
Okay, well, we don't talk politics ever on our show.
No.
But I just thought that might be him calling. But anyway, it is wonderful that now you can partake and you have helped to create some more heritage time and memories for people.
When I heard they asked for the citizen involvement, I really pushed to get on because I know I wanted to throw something back to the town that gave me so much. I wanted to give back and have this park memorialized, and I'm going to really see to it because the grounds were built by immigrants with their hands, and I want to pay homage to them, and I want to make some kind of memorial to let the people know there was the immigrants came here with their bare hands and put this together for us to enjoy today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Victor's been visiting with us. Thank you so much, Victor. And thank you for your time and efforts on behalf of all of Jackson Township and the future residents.
Thank you. Thank you again.
We are at the next tripod, which indicates future location for a pavilion. Now, I have with me, and I am so fortunate to have the Palmeni lady. Now, I'm just kidding. She knows she makes Palmeni. I love the Palmeni. I love it. Because for years I used to have it in the restaurant. That's where I get my strength from, by the way. You know that? Massive strength from Palmeni. But it is wonderful. Eleanor Hannon, Hannum, and your maiden name was Schott.
Yes.
Now, could you tell our audience, Eleanor, your connection with this whole area, Cassville?
Okay. So I was born and raised in Jackson, and in 1975, 1976, my parents, we had built the house across the lake. It was a big Spanish villa, and I grew up on this lake. I grew up swimming in this lake. We had canoes and rowboats. The original pavilion was on the water, and in the summers they'd open up the doors facing the lake, and the Russian music just filled the air. My younger brother Patrick and I would sneak over and get involved in their dance competitions. One year they let us win, and it was just such a lively community, full of life, full of culture. It's a beautiful place. Just growing up here was amazing. And the beauty of the lake it's stunning. It is stunning. Many years ago, growing up, there used to be a tree next to the waterfall, and all of us kids used to climb the tree, jump in the lake, climb up the waterfall, and back up the tree. So a lot of memories on this lake.
Wow, that's fabulous.
So now, in our design plan to maintain the community and the historical culture, we planned on an open air pavilion, which will be similar to the old location of the original Pavilion, right along the water. It'll be open air with, seating, tables, chairs for residents to come and enjoy the beauty of this space, of this lake, and of this property.
It's magnificent because it's carrying on tradition. And I think back to 1934, knowing that that is when the white Russian community came from Russia to get out of the Tsar's persecution, or no, the Tsar was gone. I guess I'm not, who?
They fled Lenin. They were fleeing communism. We did have at the top of our driveway Arthur Levin. His house burnt down. He was one of the people who had fled. He ended up living with us for over 2 years. He would tell us stories about coming to America, how he got here, and their road was not an easy road. Many of them sold themselves into indentured servitude in other countries until they can buy their way to America. So people should know that. As you know, I'm a history teacher, so as you know, a lot of history is being wiped or untold. The history of the people and how they got here and how and why they made this community. That story needs to remain alive, for our younger generation, so they appreciate, what we have today.
Well, my point was that the people came here, and I did not realize even that aspect of the difficulties that the Russians who came from Russia, what they had to do to get here. I didn't even realize. Of course, that's being rather childish on my part, but thank you for opening that door. Now I'm going to do some reading about the Russians that came to the U.S. But they came here like most everyone who came to the U.S. for freedom. Freedom to live your life not in fear, but be able to raise your children the way you want, to be able to recognize any religion and to be able to pray in any kind of church, synagogue, whatever it is, you can do it. And this is what they came for.
Mm-hmm. And personal property ownership, which in Soviet Russia they could not do. And here, as a community, they all pooled their money to build and create this resort.
Yep, 1,400 acres. 1,400 acres in 1934. I know they parceled off some for homes, and of course created this. They created St. Vladimir's Church, St. Mary's Russian Orthodox Church, the Pushkin Park. I know the statue of Pushkin is just over here to the right front of the road there on where it splits Perrineville Road. I've seen that statue so many times, sitting there, and they did so many wonderful things.
Yes, they absolutely have done so much. The Russian community, it was such a rich community, and over time, families grow older and they move away, and that seems to be the case that has happened here, with the community moving to different locations around the country. So,
well, it's wonderful, even more so then, that you and the committee and your efforts as a resident, as a lifetime resident of this area and right here, to now be able to watch this come to fruition with all the beautiful aspects of the program, of the project, that are going to come to fruition. And the next generations will be able to thrive here, have fun, have food, have song, dance, programs. Schools will come in.
The museum.
We
hand-picked artifacts, even pictures being cut out of the walls to be preserved in the museum, from the restaurant, because it's important that all that should remain alive.
Absolutely. And I hope that you're going to make a platter of pelmeni and like put something over it, paint over it so it's permanent, you know. It'll never go away.
Yes, that and borscht, right?
And borscht. Yeah, you'll never have to worry about that. Was, you know what, that was good. You took and borscht. That's it. Oh, you made my day. That was good. That was wonderful. But you know what? The foods are part of any cultural history, and it is so wonderful to remember that. Oh God, you made me drool. I'm drooling for borscht.
So now you have to come and have some Russian tea cake cookies that I made.
Yes, you made that too. How wonderful. So we've been visiting with Eleanor Hannum Schott, who grew up in a house right across the lake, right over there. And now she's giving back to the community to help restore and replenish memories and making memories for the future of the residents in Jackson right here. Thank you, Eleanor.
Thank you. Thank you so much for doing this for us.
My pleasure. The pelmeni lady. And borscht.
Borscht, yes, and cookies.
Oh, and I'm sorry, the tea cake.
The tea cake cookies.
Absolutely. I am with Matt McCall. He is on the Rova committee. He has been involved with this, and your expertise and involvement. Now, I'm standing by the Future Nature Trail. Does some of your involvement have to do with the nature trail?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I'm also the chair of the Jackson Pathfinders, our local hiking club.
Yeah.
And so I was asked to, or I volunteered to throw my name in the hat for this committee so I can help protect the interests not only of the trail but also the Pathfinders and offer our services to come and care for this trail once it's complete. So we are going to have proposed tentatively as of right now, we will have a half-mile path that will run the whole entire length of the waterfront. And then it will go towards the end, it will come to a circle. So it's a out walk and you come right back. A tentative length will be about a half a mile. It will be all concreted along the waterfront to about here. But once you enter the woods, it will be crushed stone. So it will be accessible to anybody that wants to walk it. The Pathfinders will maintain it once this is complete. We will welcome Eagle Scout projects on it. Eagle Scout projects, any kind of nature enhancement to the trail. That's what the Pathfinders want to be involved with.
You know what? That is absolutely magnificent. This is the dedication of people who are involved, and it's just beautiful. Matt McCall, and I'm sure your family as well, right?
Yes, absolutely. All of my children. My son Matthew did his Eagle Scout project on the Jackson Jungle Children's Trail. He, and as well as our oldest daughter who's in college and our youngest daughter who's a sophomore at Memorial as well, Matthew's a senior, they come out to every trail event and help us maintain all the trails in Jackson. So we keep them clean so the public can love it. Public can access it every day. They know that it's safe. They know that there's a clean place for them to get away from the hustle and bustle of the real world, and they can go out and they can enjoy wildlife and Mother Nature. And this will be the newest gem to the Jackson Pathfinder portfolio in 18 months, 2 years, whatever this project is complete.
I love it. Would you come down? What's your son's first? Matthew, named after Dad. Matthew, come on over here. You can stay right next to Dad. The reason I'm asking, there's two reasons. Number one, congratulations. Matthew's a senior at JMHS. Yay, Jackson Memorial High School, right?
Yes, sir.
I was there the day I was involved as a supervisor in the district when I was working for the Jackson Township School District, and I was there the day that they put the first shovel in the ground to get the new Fine Arts Center built between the old middle school and the original memorial building named after Mr. Ryder right now. So I was there, and I was a VP at JMHS for a couple of years too. I was telling Dad. But you're here. You're a senior. How wonderful. Number two, congratulations on being an Eagle Scout. What an honor to earn.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication required, and you had to push me around a lot in order to get it done. But after it was done, it was an amazing accomplishment. It's like I can go back and look at it in 20 years from now and still see my name on it.
Being an Eagle Scout, and I've been involved with scouting throughout my life in different ways, although I'm not a scout, but I've been involved with projects of being a sponsor for Eagle Scouts and that kind of thing. And I wanted to mention number 3, talk to me about the trail you created at the Jackson Jungle, right there where the Jackson Justice Complex is.
So on this trail, I created 2 benches handmade by me and my father. We put 5 informational animal signs across the trail in order for kids to understand exactly the animals in our environment. We even put the state bird, which is the golden finch. We also included a 3-panel entrance sign to explain what the trail was, who it's maintained by, which would be the Jackson Pathfinders, and then who created it, which would be myself. And then we also did a little bit of landscaping around some laurel bushes in order to show off the nature and the beauty of the trail itself.
The bird boxes too.
We also, he corrected me myself, we did 5 bird boxes around the trail in order for kids to be enticed to go around the trail and find everyone.
And that was what's unique is those bird boxes were built by the Cub Scouts. And they were decorated by the Cub Scouts as well, and those that weren't were decorated by my daughters, Matt's sisters, and they are put in a way where Councilman Kern came to the trail on the day of Matt's Eagle Scout project, and without any knowledge, Matt went and talked to him and learned that Councilman Kern had his granddaughter there that day. And you tell the story of what the granddaughter did.
We gave the granddaughter the whole list of every birdhouse we had, and we said, where would you think they would fit best? And she walked around the trail and pointed out every single tree in which she would love the bird boxes and which ones to put where, and that's where all of them lay.
And they're all vibrant colors, pink, yellow, so anytime friends or people who write to the Pathfinders or come to our meetings and talk about how beautiful that children's trail is, and they talk about the signs and the benches, one of the running jokes I always say is, did you see the birdhouses? And they're like, no, I never saw it. I'm like, because it's so beautiful. They're so focused on looking down at the trail that Matthew created. And I look it up at the trees where Councilman Kern's granddaughter said, hey, put it here and here. And they're vibrant. Orange, yellow, pink, green. Yes.
Just terrific.
We are very proud of his accomplishment. His mother and I are very, very proud of him and his accomplishment. And we're also proud the Pathfinders, almost every member of the Pathfinders came out that day of his Eagle Scout project and lent support between digging holes, hanging signs, leveling things. It just was a great Jackson community event for a trail that will be, an absolute beautiful thing for the town of Jackson for decades to come.
Terrific. Well, congratulations again, Matthew, on your project, and Matt McCall as well for his work on this. Father and son, it's like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, does it?
Nope.
You know, I say that really so sincerely, because to teach your children to have the same values of life and to appreciate Mother Nature and to share your skills to help Mother Nature be appreciated by others. What is the expression? You can't pay for it. It's beyond money. It's just fabulous. So congratulations to both of you, Matt and Matthew McCall, for their work for our wonderful, wonderful Cassville project. And it's coming to fruition one step at a time.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. And by the way, just a real quick end piece. That jungle, the jungle, family jungle, what's it called?
Jackson Jungle.
Jackson Jungle. I did a TV show there when they were building it, when they were just beginning building it, and then I came back and when it was all done. So I remember interviewing different people. I forget who.
We say to anybody, if you happen to go to the Jackson's branch of the Ocean County Library, if you happen to take children to go participate in sports in the Justice Complex, literally Matthew's Trail is where?
It's right by the library. It's right by the playground. So it's in between everything.
That's why I wanted you over here, because I know the area intimately, and I just love that area. And I remember with great enjoyment, 20 years ago when I did a TV show on the building of that jungle, and it was just great, wonderful. So congratulations again, and you're graduating high school this year. And the word's out, you've got a car, I think.
I do.
Whoa, wheels to boot.
I'm living a good life.
It's wonderful. Terrific. Take care, guys. Thank you for everything. I had the pleasure today on this wonderful portable stage put up by our Jackson Township DPW, those wonderful men and women who work there. We have had the pleasure of watching and listening to magnificent Russian music and dance. The beautiful, beautiful presentation of these ladies right here that are surrounding me. So, Galina Moroz, would you say hello? And we've just loved having you and everyone here.
Hello. Мне очень понравилось здесь. Здесь очень тепло, нас хорошо принимали, очень приятно.
She said she enjoyed the day. It was very warm welcome. She enjoyed the performance.
Я стихи пишу, я поэтесса, стихи пишу с раннего детства, недавно стала писать песни и выступать с ними. Делаю благотворительные концерты в разных штатах, куда приглашают, с удовольствием приезжаю, дарю радость, тепло и хорошее настроение людям.
Galina Moroz writes the poems since since the childhood. She's also the member of Belarus Association of the Writers. She performs in various states with charity concerts and brings fun and bright day to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I wanted to ask her, did you come here when it was still with lots of people and the restaurant was here? And yes, no, oh, she was not here, not in this area then before. And now Tatiana Halitskaya?
Yes.
Halitskaya. Tatiana Halitskaya. That's why I was looking up my paper. Tatiana, beautiful voice.
Thank you very much.
And you are a professional singer?
Yes, I'm a professional singer. I graduated Academy of Music, vocal major in Belarus, and I used to live in United States for 20 years already, and I came to Jackson to live permanently 5 years ago.
Wow. My relatives lived in Zhytomyr in Ukraine. Belarus is north, I think, north.
We are neighbors there, right?
Sort of, not too far.
Not.
And I must tell you, I'm so sorry of what is going on in Belarus and what's going on in that area. It's so difficult for everyone. I hope that everyone will be well and safe in the near future. I hope.
We hope to.
And thank you for your singing and everything. Now, where do you sing when you do your shows?
Well, I've been singing in different places. I sang with Philadelphia, different ensembles like Mendelssohn Club of Philadelphia, Vox Amadeus, with Valentin Radu, conductor, and I sang, perform in a Kimmel Center in Philadelphia lots of time as a soloist and with the choir, Symphony Choir of Philadelphia, and I'm doing my own recitals and I'm trying to be on the stage. Lots of concerts, people calling me, some opera companies. So I'm trying to keep my voice warm all the time.
If anybody is watching in show business, anybody out there who lives in Jackson that works in New York in the field of entertainment, here she is. We've got Galina, and we've got Tatiana. And inspiration. Our inspiration. Poruski. Inspiration Poruski. Oh, that's what
Вдохновение.
I like it. I like the word. What a show. Now, inspiration dances where? Where do you dance?
Мы из Филадельфии. В этом году нам исполняется 10 лет. У нас, конечно, был более обширный коллектив, сейчас осталось мало. Я с Украины, поэтому в основном я готовлю, придумываю украинские танцы. Мы шьем костюмы на Украине, я их привожу. И мы очень счастливы заниматься этим делом. И я думаю, вы насладились нашими танцами сегодня.
She's from Ukraine. She makes the costumes for the ensemble. There's a few other members as well. Today, 2 of them are presented, and she enjoys whatever she does, and hopefully the audience enjoyed the show as well. Thank you.
And I hope that they can come back again when we have the outdoor pavilion done. And it'll be over that way in that area behind us. And it's going to be an outdoor, beautiful pavilion for you to dance in, outdoors. So we hope to have you back again with good health, in good health, and all of you. Our entertainment for today, they are absolutely wonderful and carry on the wonderful, beautiful traditions of Russia, its history, the beauty of its music to the people from Russia, and sharing it with us here today. Did you know we had pelmeni here? Some pelmeni?
Oh,
somebody make it? Yeah, she made it. The lady in the blue top right there, the blonde lady, just shaking hands. She made pelmeni and some Russian tea cakes. And I'm going to go get one before they're all gone. I'll race you. Okay, I'll race you. And we'll see. Here she comes. See, Helen. That's Eleanor. Eleanor. Quick, come here. Eleanor. Tell everyone. Tell them that she's the lady who makes pelmeni.
Она сделала пельмени.
Eleanor Schott, she makes. Eleanor Schott is a wonderful person, not only working with us here and has lived right here her whole life. She has made pelmeni today. She made pelmeni and Poluski tort. And is that the right word? Tort? Oh, you got me remembering my Russian. Cake. All right. Russian cake. And we all love our borscht.
Oh, yes. Our borscht.
We got to have borscht. Everybody. See, so it's getting together, sharing everything together. Thank you, folks. That was great. Thank you. Thank you.
I gotta go. Thank you. Now.
We have one more area that we haven't had a chance to mention, but it's mentioned on this placard here, and it is going to be a community garden. It's actually going to be a fenced area, and I'm not sure much about what it is going to have within it, because the person that is putting it together has already left the scene here today. But there will be a beautiful community garden which sounds to me like some people may have a specialty of roses, perhaps, so maybe they'll grow roses there or whatever. So it's going to be quite dynamic. But I want to thank you for being with us today on This is Jackson. We have explored the use of the 34 acres here that are being taken over by the township, and they'll be making it into a magnificent family place to be. It's a park, it's got water, it's got the lake, it's got fishing, it's got kayaking. You can really enjoy barbecuing. They'll have barbecue areas set up, the permanent ones, so you can just come and tables and so on. It is a place right here in the Cassville section of Jackson, right next to St. Vladimir's Church, and it is just a delight. It is really a place to be, and to bring children, family. You can walk, you can talk, you can relax, you can do exercise here, and it's going to be wonderful. So when you get a chance, keep up on with the papers. Watch out for the opening when it happens officially, which will be a while from now. But we want to thank all of the Jackson committee and the members of the community that have certainly participated in this, as well as the wonderful councilman from Monmouth County who was with us this morning, Alex, and Alex was with us to open our show today. So take care and be well, and we'll see you on the next event with This is Jackson.